Alright, here's the problem with people witnessing what they think is paranormal activity or demons or um one your brain can play tricks on you. If you go in a dark place, um you think you saw something and it was maybe like a light reflecting. Your brain plays tricks on you because of fear. We have that instinct in our brain. Since we evolved over billions of years, everything love, fear. So, especially when you're in a dark place, since we're used to the light, and 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 if it's dark or unknown, people have fear. Kind of like people fearing hell, um, even though it's not real, or people fearing clowns, even though they're not clowns, are not going to harm people. So, there's actually something called, I think, clownophobia or something like that. Fear of clowns. There's like some different fears. So, usually when people they think they witness this, it's a hallucination. Other thing is, it's like in a desert. We'll go for something different. Like, so like if you don't have food or drink, and then you're in the desert and you think you see an oasis, and it turns out it's nothing. Your brain is, as again is playing tricks on you. Um, your brain sees that nice oasis, but it turns it's nothing. It's because your brain is an amazing machine. It fires like neurons billions per second. If you don't have food or drink for days, you're gonna start seeing things. If you overdose on medicine, you're gonna start seeing things, hearing things. So basically, let's go back to the people that witnessed the paranormal and demons. Since the it's like watching a horror movie. When you watch a horror movie, you're scared. If it's a really, really good horror movie, and your brain zones out. Your brain gets into the movie, or like you're playing a horror game or a game. Your brain gets into the game so much. So your brain gets into the horror movie, and then you go to sleep. Turns out you have nightmares. You're thinking about that movie. Or if it's not a nightmare of that movie, it's some kind of bizarre dream. Whether you might be, and I've had crazy dreams, where I was like, riding, driving a car off a building, or trying to climb this ever-ending steps um, to escape this bad guy that wanted to kill me for just crazy dreams, because he was a spy or something, eh, you know. So your brain is go gonna react to all kinds of stimulus like that. That's why people have orgasms. Your brain is reacting to that sensation of the love or touch or like drugs. Drugs. That's how drugs affect the brain and stuff and so forth. So these people that probably have these paranormal or think they're seeing demons are kind of hallucinating. It doesn't have to be in the dark either. There's been all kinds of stories. There's been, that somebody was in the room and they witnessed entity manifest or some sort. Um, so your brain really can play tricks on a lot of you. We actually observed total proof right now, which people thought when they died, and they saw light and they thought they were going to heaven and stuff, and they saw their relatives. It turns out their brain was still in a REM state, in a dream state, and believe it or not, even though when you close your eyes and sleeping, your eyes are flickering from the impulses of your brain into your eye, and that's just what causes the dream. So your eyes are not fully closed. It's kind of interesting and a very interesting phenomenon. The dream, the REM and dream sleep, and and the DMT, which causes those dreams. And people say when you die, DMT is released, and that's why the people they think they have this afterlife. When they're dead, they see these lights, and they actually did like a test. They did a test on the brain to invoke when you're dead. make these afterlife experiences happen. They actually really did this already. So the afterlife test is uh, it's already been done, and so the afterlife is false because they actually scanned the brain and they did these tests, and they actually everything that the people thought they were going to heaven and saw their relatives and when they're dying has been produced through test. And that's why when you die, you die. There's no coming back. There's no magical paradise, no magical heaven. That's it. So, so your brain really can play tricks on you. Even if you don't watch horror movies, even if you did like spells or something, you can make your brain see things. You so your brain can really play tricks on you, and that's why the supernatural has truly never been proven, because it's not real. And probably even the alien abductions. It's there's there's um there's only been like 2 or 3 of the famous cases. One is the Roswell crash in New Mexico, and the others were these people they were in Maine, I believe, and they were fishing, and they got abducted, and they were telling their whole story. Believe it or not, the same exact story. Everybody had the same exact story. Now the question is, that was very interesting, and also the case in Alaska. Those are probably like the most 3 famous abduction UFO stories to be somewhat quote unquote credible. But the funny thing is, why isn't everybody getting abducted? Why is only certain people getting abducted? It goes back to the religion. You could read this holy book. If everything it says, you believe it to be true, but you don't question it. But if you question it, of course you find things just doesn't add up. That's why there's atheists. So it's like all these abductions. Why would aliens just out of the blue pick these people and not everybody getting abducted throughout the whole history? You know what I'm saying? Fishing or in deserts and so forth. Why hasn't there been real proof of these alien devices inside people? There's only one case with this so-called alien device. Now, I'm not saying that this abduction is not true, but it still makes you question. It's like the vast majority of the supernatural does not exist outweighs the less majority, and that's big. The vast majority of supernatural has all been false, and the slight cases have been true. It doesn't hold much water, right? But there was one case, supposedly, this person he said he was abducted, and he had this implant into his body, and the doctor couldn't believe it. I couldn't explain it. And it had markings of an alien origin. And this was one case. And that seems to be very credible, right? Where did these markings come from, and how did he get these weird burns? Unless he made it up and did it himself. There's a thing called people like to actually hurt themselves. It could have been that. It could have been a chemical burn. It could have been different chemical burns. The markings on this device, he could have put it himself. And he could have just wrote crazy alien language that doesn't even exist. It's like the crop circles that people have wondered how that be, or the pyramids. People thought it was aliens, and the crop circles were aliens. And it turns out the crop circles were exactly recreated by humans. So that was debunked. So the problem with either the paranormal or the alien abductions is the vast amount of the proof of of is very little proof compared to the vast amount of all these claims that have all been disproven. That's why it doesn't hold water. All these supernatural and alien abduction stories.